What can those who don't live in Hong Kong do to support the protesters fighting for freedom? As a HKER, I am interested in what the foreigners think is happening in Hong Kong right now. Since in the past few months, it's hard to find unbiased information, truth feels like it's in short supply. On one hand, you have pro-PRC newspaper like Global Times that supports the government, report the worst bit of the protesters, calling local triad, heroes in white for beating up protesters, who were dressed in black, and how the protesters occupying HK Airport costs the aviation industry several 10 millions. And then on the other hand, you have newspaper like BBC, or social media channels like Twitter that show how peaceful the protests are, at least initially, the police using excessive force, intentionally allowing protesters to be beaten up, and HK government ignoring the requests of protesters. Oh, regarding the title, Fighting for Freedom. The extradition bill may be the spark that starts the fire, but what keeps the fire going is far more than that. It's not just about freedom anymore. Don't let it lose coverage. The only weapon and protection Hong Kong protesters have is the media. Once they lose that, they literally have nothing. Funnily enough, Reddit makes the situation seem more known than it actually is outside of internet context. I've had several discussions out here with people, perhaps 12 different people, all 12 didn't know this issue existed, and most didn't seem to really care. So far this Area 51 raid has far more presence than Hong Kong's protests, which is unfortunate. Help other people in your own city to be aware of the situation in Hong Kong. Spread the news about it. Talk about it on other types of social media. Although it's a small step, bringing awareness to a problem is a step towards a solution. I see that several countries are taking the side of the protesters, but it still needs to be talked about more. I couldn't find any website where you could directly help them sadly, so the best thing we can do is bring awareness to the situation. Hong Konger here. First, I thank you all sincerely for caring for us. So the best things you can do is to spread the words to others in your nation, showing the government and the Communist Party in China how many people care will undoubtedly give them a lot of pressure. I also want to tell you guys that Hong Kong exists and it contains a lot of information you guys really need to know. Thank you. Edit, I really appreciate all your comments, please continue asking me about Hong Kong, I'll gladly try to answer all. Hong Konger here. Keep visiting us. Don't let the government have any more excuses to say the protesters have ruined tourism in Hong Kong. It really is pretty safe here 99% of the time, and protesters know to protect the innocent. Edit, just to clarify one thing as I keep seeing it in my responses. The Hong Kong International Airport has been temporarily closed this past Monday and Tuesday, but has resumed normal operation since then. Protests in the airport have been scaled way back as well. Watch, learn, and don't repeat their mistakes at home. It's easy to forget how hard freedom was fought for, and people so easily give up that freedom at a request. Support us by staying informed and being objective about the situation. Most of us are peaceful. The violence define a number of us but not the majority. There are also a lot of unverified accusations and outright lies on social media, including Reddit. Don't trust. Verify. Don't demonize the police but denounce police brutality and poor de-escalation tactics. Denounce violence from everyone, including the protesters. Denounce propaganda and interference of reporters from both sides. Denounce biased media framing from international news. Seek unedited live footage. I can't stress this enough. Live footage. Not written summaries with emotive language and sensationalized headlines. When debating, recognize different fallacies. The most common ones are ad hominem, red herring and straw man. Many arguments never really address the opposition's argument. See how that Area 51 raid blew up due to memes? We have to start making them about HK on how the actions government and police force is literally inhumane. To everyone here from HK, here in Canada, you guys are on our news daily. We care about you and we really hope for the best for you guys. I've been seeing a lot of reports the government is threatening bringing in soldiers and tanks, so please be safe. Fight against corruption. Whether that corruption is inside you, at local administration or at national level. They, HKers, are playing their part. When will we? I've been living in Hong Kong ever since I was born. Personally, it would be really helpful if you guys kept spreading the word and putting in your thoughts yourselves. Protesting right at your desk is basically what I'm trying to say. Something even as little as supporting us is fine. However, because of the protests, some parts of our city are being destroyed, blocked off, etc. Things like that can't exactly be fixed by others who don't live in Hong Kong, but if we do end up protesting for the next few years and basically never stopping, I think it would be really helpful for people to come by and protest too. Contacting lawyers or LegCo staff members about the situations could be really helpful. Even if you can't do anything, that's totally fine, but all I really think we need is for the rest of the world to agree with removing the extraditional bill. Carrie Lam will face her wrong ways and it'll be removed. But that's only something we could dream of. Trying our best to make this a reality is the most I ask for. Again, thank you to everyone for actually caring about our population and our homes. Smiley face. Is there somewhere I could find a relatively unbiased Eli 5 of what the situation is? From what I've seen on Reddit, I can see that it is fluffed over there, but I'd have no idea how to explain it to someone else. Upvote. Oh, and boycott the new Mulan movie. The lead just posted a picture saying, "I support Hong Kong police. You can hit me." Quote closing square bracket opening parenthesis. I currently am in HK and me and my family come from the UK to HK every year to visit my relatives, so to give those a perspective of the protest and its effects, the flight that my family took to get to HK from Dubai was the last one allowed in before the airport had to be temporarily unavailable due to the protesters. By the way, this flight just so happened to arrive on the day the protest at the airport took place. Plus there's still more. After my family had collected our luggage, we entered the arrival hall and there were protesters everywhere. The peer pressure I felt from all of them looking at my family honestly made me feel scared, along with some of them shouting things which made no sense to me. To give context, I'm Chinese and English is my first language. I can't speak Chinese but can understand some of it. In this scenario, I had no idea what they were saying. Also, the airport was packed, and I mean so packed that you had literally no breathing room, heck barely any room to be carrying a suitcase along with you. Eventually we made it to the MTR station, and even then the trains were packed with protesters in them, as well as around the doors to the trains. However, I don't want to be conveying a bad image of the protesters. Most were actually really nice and allowed us travelers, tourists to get through, and I saw an article which said that they apologized to any travelers which got caught in the protest, and how they didn't mean to get in the way of travelers, tourists. I think the best way to support the protesters, and I know that this has probably mentioned many times already, is to spread this information to everyone, so that they know what's going on. Hong Kong isn't a bad place, trust me. I've been here at least 10 times now and it's genuinely a nice place, and I don't want its reputation to be ruined by protesters who don't even mean to ruin its reputation. Keep yourself and others updated on the situation and I'm sure things will turn for the best. Side note, the government manipulates the news channels in HK so that they modify what gets told across TV. And I saw a video of a protester being arrested for carrying a martial weapon on his bag, even though on the video it shows a police officer put the martial weapon in his bag, so yeah. Okay then. I won't be surprised if this gets taken down. I just hope I can convey enough information to anyone reading this about the protests in HK. Sorry for the long rant, hope you have had a great day and stay hydrated. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Alfred outro plays. If you want to help the people in Hong Kong and are US, EU or UK citizen, US, Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act 2019 H.R. 3289 S. 1838, you can use this website to send a pre-composed letter to your representative. An EU joint motion for a resolution on the situation in Hong Kong, RC 9-2019-0013-N UK letter to your MP to uphold the 1984 Sino-British Joint Declaration letter. Just spread the words about the situation in Hong Kong, that's already very helpful. This is an example where your involvement helped the people of Hong Kong. US passed Senate bill to sanction Chinese and Hong Kong officials violating the fundamental human rights and freedoms, Sec. 6209, are forever grateful. Hong Kong are here. Just want to add to what everyone already said. Please keep checking up on us. Don't let the story die. The moment Western media forgets us is the moment China is free to do whatever it wants without repercussions. But also, please, do not give up on us. Despite all the protests and violence, Hong Kong is still an incredibly international and vibrant city, and all we are trying to do is to fight to let Hong Kong be Hong Kong, rather than slipping into just another Chinese city. As long as we still have your support, we will strive to continue our fight for the spirit of Hong Kong. Thank you.